later on tonight. Live on South Michigan Avenue, Jessica D'Onofrio, ABC 7 News. Linda, back to you.
Jessica, thank you. Now, in addition to mayor, Chicago voters also are casting their ballots for city treasurer, city clerk, and alderman.
We are with a very special guest.
Yes, we are, Phil. Olympic gold medalist and world champion figure skater Evan Lysacek is back home for a visit, and he's ready to hit the ice on the world's highest skating rink.
Evan has won lots of awards, as you know, since he first put on skates at the age of 8. But it was the gold at the 2010 Winter Olympics that's still fresh in the minds of lots of fans. And we get to meet him here in our State Street studio. It's so great to see you here.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
So you're going to be with us, and then you're heading to a skating rink.
That's right. We're heading over to the John Hancock Center, 1,000 feet up in the air.
Right,
and
right.
I'll be skating up there and actually trying my luck at hockey.
Oh,
with
really?
Some young children that'll probably be pulling me around the ice, but I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's very, very nice. So what have you been up to since the big win? I mean, everybody, that's still fresh in everyone's mind. What an exciting performance for everybody to watch at home.
Thanks
I
so
can't
much.
imagine what it was like for you.
Thank you. It's great to return to Chicago, actually, because I haven't been able to spend a lot of time here. I was here a year ago for the Stars on Ice tour, but I'm looking forward to coming back with the 25th anniversary of Smucker's Stars on Ice on March 12th. And I'll actually be able to get around. Most important.
And you know, you look at, a lot of people were saying, no fair, he's great anyway. How could he be in Dance with the Stars? But that's a whole different animal, isn't it?
Skill set.
Yes.
I was a terrible dancer, and you know, it's something I was criticized for actually throughout my skating career, was not having any ability to dance, and that's why I thought this is a great challenge for me to prove people either wrong or right. And so it was kind of, you know, magnifying what was one of the weakest aspects of my personality. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge.
You were great, too. So
Thank
you
you.
continue to be busy. You continue to skate. Is there another Olympics in your future?
You know what? I'm thinking seriously about it now. And as I've gotten back on the ice with Smucker Stars on Ice tour, and, you know, I have to be in good shape and train and perform every night, I'm putting a little pressure on myself to see if I can hang with the guys that are, you know, competing this season. And I have sat this season out, but I'm definitely looking at next season as a possibility. And, you know, that'll be a good, you know, way for me to estimate whether I could go for another gold medal in Sochi.
Okay, we think so.
We say go for it, Evan.
Go
Why
for
not?
It's easy to say sitting here. I say the same thing. I'm going to go for it.
To say,
Once I get out in the cold, my muscles are sore and bruised.
Okay, but it's a challenge, and you love challenges, too.
I love challenges,
I know
and
you
I
do.
would love to be there in Sochi. I really
Oh, okay, we heard it.
Great.
We heard it right here.
Seventh Decade produces the most widely read publications about African Americans. Ebony magazine celebrated its 65th anniversary last year, and this is the magazine's latest edition with Halle Berry on the cover.
She looked beautiful.
Always.
Now, join us in the studio this morning, Linda Johnson Rice, who's the chairman of Johnson Publishing, also the daughter of its founder, John H. Johnson. We are so happy to see you here today. Now, your father founded the company back in 1942, put out the first edition of Ebony, then 3 years later. And the magazine has been so important to the African-American community. And talk about why.
You know, I really think that my father at the time, and my mother as well, Eunice W. Johnson, because they were partners together in this, really believed that the African-American community needed a voice. And there was no real place in media for them to see themselves in a successful and a positive light. And so that was really the impetus for starting Ebony in 1945, and then Jet, our weekly news magazine, was started in 1951.
Now we're looking at some covers. The first one, I believe, was the first cover.
Right.
What do you know about these? What's the history behind them?
Well, the first cover of Jet, I love this one because, you know, the title on it is 10 Ways to Get a Mink Coat. I don't know if that's applicable now, but of course in this cold weather it might very well be. But, you know, it was eye-catching, and it was all about quick, fast news. And really, in a week's time, being able to report what happened to African Americans in that week's time. And Ebony was really more of a features magazine, really giving us more in-depth, more, I think, stories that had more meat to them.
Okay. Now, Jet reaches its 60th anniversary this year. Wow. So how did Jet become a part of the company?
You know, my father really thought that he saw a void, and he said, you know what, not only do we need a features magazine, but people need to know, African Americans need to know what's happening in the world that affects them on a weekly basis. We can do this too. He's an entrepreneur. You've never one to rest on his laurels.
No, he never stopped, right?
Never.
Okay, now, some covers of Ebony magazine have just become classics too. name a couple of the recent ones that are and what your
We're looking at
favorites
one of
are.
them.
Look at this one.
Absolutely. Well, there's, of course, President Obama, which was our highest-selling cover ever, because it was just a milestone in the history of the company and a milestone in the history of the country.
I bet you felt so proud to be able to do that, too.
Amazing,
You know?
amazing. And it's a Chicago guy.
Absolutely. And speaking of Chicago,
And then here's Oprah.
Yes.
I mean, you can't get more iconic than that. And so that's our jet cover that's on sale now.
Okay, so not just magazines too, but also cosmetics. Okay,
Yes.
How? Talk
Fashion
about
Fair
getting into that.
Cosmetics.
Yes.
And it really started as an offshoot of our Ebony Fashion Fair, which is the world's largest traveling fashion show that traveled for charity that my mother was the producer of. And she saw the models mixing cosmetics and not having anything for their complexion. And of course, being the entrepreneur,
Yes.
here they are again,
Here they
said,
are.
we can do this. We can start a cosmetics line. And now, you know, we're in Macy's and in all these wonderful iconic stores, and it's just been great for us.
let's keep that picture up there for a second here, because let's talk about your parents. Your dad died in 2005, your mother in 2010.
Yes.
That must feel like, I mean, they taught you so much, obviously, and a big responsibility to carry on this incredible legacy that they created.
Yes, it is an unbelievable legacy, and yes, it is a great responsibility, and one that I take very, very seriously. I mean, that I would hope that they trained me well, and to respect what I do, and to respect our audience, and to really impart onto them all the things that we can, and to really grow our audience.
You pass that on to your daughter, right?
I am passing it on to my daughter.
Yeah, let's hope she's the next
Absolutely.
generation too.
Let's hope so.
Okay, all right, we're out of time, but by the way, congratulations.
Yo amanecí